Hi, hello, hey, happy new month. It's June. We're in the 6th month. Yes, of the year 2025. It's June. Wow, time is really flying. But anyway, again, Foxy Diaries fam, we are here yet again, continuing doing this thing that we love doing so much, and being a new month.
We are 3
3
months old.
Oh, we just turned 3.
Yes.
Interesting. Anyway, so we shifted from leadership and now we jump into relationships. Again, remember we said this month we do leadership, the next month we do
relationships.
Yes. So it's June and this is our relationship month. So, Chris.
As usual, you are joined by the small madame, always sipping something. I'm very unserious in this show. But then, my name is Grace Maingi. Alafu, we have the big madame who's always serious. Our host.
Sylvia is the name.
I love your mustard. Looks nice.
And I love
happy month, happy colors. This month we are wearing happy colors. So ukituona kila siku tukikwambia kama tunakwambia ma realities na kuchapa left, right, center, we are telling you
because we love you.
Yes.
And we want you to stay happy.
And we look nice while telling you those things.
Yeah.
So happy new month. While I think about relationships, nikikumbuka kwenye tuliacha relationships in April, we talked about auditing inner circle, we talked about picking the right person, we talked about who has access.
And your favorite, the red flags and green lights.
Flags. Oh my God. I loved that episode. The same way I loved the one last month. I loved the one for May. I loved the one for healing.
Yeah.
The third week, I loved the healing one. Yeah. This month, I don't know what I'm going to love more, but then niko na story moto hapa. Ushaijipata kwa situation, rather, before I read the situation I have you ever found yourself in a situation where you keep picking the same partner over and over again? Uko kwa relationship, ulipick last time alikuwa na the same characters, na the one next time ako the same characters, and the other one then following time they still have the same characters, they are still bad, they still treat you wrongly, or they still don't show up for you, and you realize that there is a pattern that's forming. What's the problem, or who's the problem? That's what we are unraveling today, which reminds me of a story my mother tells me. Watu wote wamezaliwa na mtu mmoja. Ule alikuwa na shida na ule akona shida na ule watu wote wewe uone kama kuko na kasoro. Mimi sijasema na judge mtu by the way.
I love it.
Nimefanya
umenyamaza. Sips to you.
Yes.
Anyway.
As I prepare to read the story, react to what I have said.
I think I love where we are beginning this from, and I feel like it's just from where we left it at, because it was on green lights and the red flags bit. So as I love saying, there's nothing that is a coincidence in this life, and we have been living in a place where people they hide behind what they call my type, but nobody, or rather very few people, pause and ask themselves what informs your so-called type. You know, so in this episode, what we want to look at is the patterns behind your preference. Why do you keep going, or why do you keep preferring the same kind of people?
Tu ukisikia Silvia akiongea hivyo, si unakaa tu chini unakunywa chai unasikiza.
Because most of the times, and we are told that my people perish because of ignorance, and that is why we are here to shed light on a few things. Most of the times you will find that your preferences are dictated, your preferences are informed by your past traumas, by your heartaches, by what you grew up seeing. That is what informs how you do life and the people you keep choosing. It was shaped, it was modeled to you, and you picked it up consciously or unconsciously. Something prepared you, schooled you, and shaped you.
It tumeanza kukua personal. It was
and told you
to be personal.
This is the right kind of, utaisikia these people wenye usema ati for them to feel loved wanajuanga lazima at least once in a week or maybe twice in a month lazima upigwe dose 2-3 ya slaps.
Do you know
Ati that
I was
is
with someone today the morning that told me the same thing?
because that is what they grew up knowing love looks like. So yeah, let's get into the car story, our tale for the day.
Mpaka
As we carry on.
kama nisome hii story ama niwape story ya mtu najua and by
A
mtu
tale
najua.
is a tale.
Mi sijasema ni mimi, nifaa tu kusema ni story.
Hatujasema nini.
She thought changing
It's a
faces.
friend of a friend.
Friend of a friend of a friend. Shh, don't say anything. Kwa nini topics za relationship na kuanga niko na mshene sana? Za leadership last month I was very quiet, very cutesy and very demure. But when it came to my loud mouth has come. I'm laughing and talking in the way that pleases the Lord. She thought changing faces meant changing fate. But every new relationship had the same undertone. Emotionally distant, charming, hard to reach. One night, after another situationship fizzled out, her mentor gently asked, "Who did you first feel this way with?"
Chani, can I try? Can I answer?
Tears came first. It was her father.
Yep.
Warm one moment, cold the next, but from a wound. Warm one moment, cold the next. That's when she saw it. She wasn't dating from wholeness, but from a wound. Her heart had normalized inconsistency, and her type was just a reflection of what she'd never healed from. Me, I have not told you this is someone I know. I was just giving a story. But ni kama hii story naisikia. Nimenyamaza. A word is enough for the wise. Here is a girl who has been choosing people based on... I realized one thing is that a lot of young people, especially right now, not even young people, a lot of people are... The reason why they're not showing up, or rather the reason why they're showing up inconsistently in their relationships, is that they are acting from a place of trauma. Everyone is traumatized from their childhood or from a past experience or from something, and majority of the people have not healed from those traumas. And they carry that trauma subconsciously or even unconsciously. They don't even know they have it, but then they keep carrying it to the next phases of their lives. I am one person who found myself in that situation.
Wow.
I always used to date older men. I love older men. Like nilikuwa natakanga wenye tumeachana na miaka za uko na
substantial kuachana.
I realized that I was looking for my dad in those people because there was a certain image I had of my father that I felt could only be filled by. Avoid that. I don't even know what to say. But once someone opened my eyes and told me, "Madam, kitu unafanya," because I realized that I was attracting. Unaona story of madam? See story by the way.
No, it
is a tale of people like you and me that are living. And you know what I want to tell you? Some of those things that you're calling types, some of those things that you're calling preferences are patterns. You need to break them or repeat them. You can only go through two ways. It's either or. You will either break those patterns or you will either keep repeating those patterns. The choice is yours. Madam Psychologist.
Really? Anyways, but no, it's a funny thing that actually it's a widely accepted notion. I don't want to call it fact because it doesn't cut across every area, but it's widely accepted that most girls end up marrying someone who looks like their father. Someone, and by looking, I'm not really saying physically, but trait-wise, character-wise, we are always looking for our father in the person that will marry us. And funny enough, we are told that when we are getting married, we are moving from one father to the next father. So literally, what you're looking for in the next person that you will want to call a husband is almost similar to what you grew up knowing. This is a dad. So imagine now, like that girl when she sat down and cried and realized that where she picked that from was from the dad. And this is the place where we come and say, patterns, sit down. If you come to my office, I love challenging people with a pen and paper. Sit down, write. Let's be as old school as that. What are you looking for in that person? But okay, wacha kwanza to deal in relationships. What are you looking for in that person that you want to settle down with? No, unaandika unaandika, oh, quiet. Who told you quiet is your time? Or maybe did you see your dad quiet all the time?
Who modeled that pattern?
That is the question. But then again, this does not also cut across just romantic relationships only. Remember that we do all kinds of relationships. These will also cut around even the people you think should be your friends or your best friends or your circle. Again, it will be informed by what you grew up seeing. Who did your mom hang out around? What was she saying? The authority figures, the mentor figures that you grew up looking up to, or how are they doing life? Because as you were growing up, you felt safe and you felt protected and loved. So you didn't see anything wrong with these figures that they did. You just grew up and adopted that as the truth. And it takes work. In Foxy Diaries, what we consistently say that you will have to work. It takes work. You must put in the work to undo what needs to be undone, but also to preserve what needs to be preserved, because we can't demonize everything that we grew up seeing. There are nice things that we grew up seeing, and they need to be reinforced, they need to be repeated, they need to be taught downwards, the generations and everything. So we are not saying that everything is wrong, no.
Yeah.
But what is wrong, you need to interrogate it. And as she has said, what you don't break, you will continually repeat it. If I embrace it, embracing it means I will, the children I will get, they will keep wanting to see that, and they will take that up the same way that I took up that from my caregiver. So there's that place of interrogating my type, my pattern, ini, preference, ini. Because as I'm saying this again, and look, I need more new friends. But group of schools again, there was a time he used na nilimwambia by the statement nitaiyoveruse. He was like, he believes that love is expressive. And I've sat down with that statement for quite a while, and I agree with him. And he came from a place of telling, his point of argument was, he doesn't believe these people who say that they're introverted, so even their way of loving is introverted. No. That's a lie. That's a lie. There's a place of being loud. So you can't tell me just because you grew up in a place where love was not expressed, love was not communicated, love was not displayed, that you want to carry on with that because that is what you grew up thinking is normal.
Clean up your bad habits.
Yep, that is it. So as we keep going deeper with this conversation of what was the title again? Patterns that inform your preference. I want us to start thinking about the same patterns in the Bible that, remember, we are Jesus girls, right? You will look at a person like, funny enough, the first person that has come to my mind is King Solomon. And he's 1 million wives. But anyway, the women he kept going for. What were the patterns? You'd realize most of them, number one, were beautiful. Because the beauty looked like that was the capturing factor, But beyond that, most of them, because they were majorly the cause of his downfall, because they kept introducing him to other gods, other worships, So uyo wife anakujana. And back then, partly, if you do your research properly, you'll realize some of these wives were as a result of, how these ancient kingdoms used to make pacts and truces and peace, and you brought a wife and you're told to. That was partly one of the ways that Solomon got his many wives. So as that was happening, he adopted this, but he was taken away from God for a while, and he was introduced to other ways of doing worship. As much as he came back to the worship of Yahweh, who is the true God, but at one point, his choices, his preferences brought his downfall. What are we saying? That patterns, the things that we keep. I love saying that choices, your choices, your consequences. You can't run away from. You can't run away from consequences. The choice part, you still have some leeway. You can choose to go right or not. But the moment you've made your choice, you will not run away from consequences.
Yep.
So in your patterns, what is it? What is informing your patterns? What do you keep going for that is not working for you? Why are you even going for it?
Then the other thing that comes to my mind, because I know we are almost winding up. The other thing that, I know, right? Wiki za mapenzi ni kama vitu zinaendanga right, left and center, my time inaishanga tu. But the other thing that's coming to my mind that you had mentioned, but I would want us to explore as we start winding up. The other thing is, why do we find comfort in unsafe environments? Do you even know what healthy love is? Do you know what someone showing up for you and doing right by you means? Because we might be here talking about repeated patterns. Unachapa unaona uko sawa. Do you even recognize unhealthy patterns in relationships?
I love that. Healthy versus unhealthy.
What is healthy? What is unhealthy? What are the patterns you have picked that you keep looking? Like, there's a statement Slice said that aroused that thought in me. The statement he said, kuna mtu ati asipochapwa once or twice. And you're the second person I am hearing telling me that same thing today. Like today. There are women out there who their version of love is being battered. And I am like, where is it written that you must experience pain for you to experience love?
They're just learned.
The patterns you have, where did you pick them from? Who modeled them for you? Who told you like tall, dark, handsome? Who told you that you like well-built? It comes from who told you that? Is it healthy? Is it necessary? Is it okay? Is it proper? That's the thought I'd want to leave you with as we wind up. But then, as always, we need to anchor this on the scripture. I'll leave you with a few scriptures where you can read concerning this. Proverbs 26 verse 11, Jeremiah 17 verse 9, Psalms 139 verse 23 to 24. And my winding down thought would be, until the root is unveiled, the pattern will persist. The heart will chase what is familiar, not what is fruitful, unless healed by truth. The heart will chase what is familiar, not what is truthful, unless healed by the truth.
Yep. And the heart is quite deceitful. So you really need a lot of Jesus.
Actually, one of those verses we have given you talks about the heart being very deceitful. So you need to hear from God. You need to undo. And if wewe ndo uko na hizo patterns, sasa we are talking about people that are choosing the wrong patterns. There are also people that are the pattern creators. If you are the pattern we are talking about, you're also
part of this conversation.
You also need to work on yourself.
Everyone is always work in progress. So you need to be specific. You need to target what you are working on for you to see growth and progress. And maybe what I'll say, because today is not enough to cover healthy and unhealthy patterns, or what healthy and unhealthy looks like. This is what I'll say. As long as it's hurting you, because remember, you can lie to every other person, but you can't lie to yourself. So if it's hurting you, if it's paining you, something is off about it. Something is really off about it. And something needs to be worked on. As long as it's paining you, you're not happy, you're not generally joyous about it, because there's a difference between joy and happiness. If you're not just joyful about a situation or a person you're with, something is off, something is unhealthy about it that needs healing, that needs working on. And on that note, we put a pin on it until next time.
But we want to finish by saying, because we want to express love to everyone. If you're the person we're talking about, don't feel downcast. I know my heart goes out to you. I have been there. I have done that. I have been in those spaces, and it's not a pretty place to be at. Even in that mess, even in that situation where you're feeling, okay, I keep choosing the wrong people, when will the right one come? Hold on, hold in there, work on yourself, but our hearts go
And
out
feel
to you.
free to reach out.
Yes.
Our email address is always there. We can have these conversations one-on-one. We can explore something you want us to explore. Feel free.
This psychologist has offered her help. Maybe I will give you stories of Bunwasi. But until next time,
This is Foxy Diaries.
the tales of
The untold
I was sleeping in class, okay.
But they're the tales
untold tales of
of wheat, wisdom, and wild chance.